You're listening to Radio Equinox 99.5 FM.
Live on the air, under the California sky.
Radio Equinox 99.5 FM.
This is the Deep Dive Podcast. Produced by Charles White, NASA veteran, lesson learned investigator, space storyteller, and accidental desert broadcaster. The microphone is open. The signal is real.
This is Radio Equinox
99.5
FM.
Your home for live desert radio.
Radio Equinox 99.5 FM.
What an introduction! Dang. Might play that again just so I feel good about myself. All right. Well, hi, everybody at Bequinox 2026. This is Charles White coming to you live. Well, I feel alive. On, let's see, 99.5 FM, which is Shouting Fire and Equinox Radio. Yes, Equinox Radio, not to be confused with Bequinox Radio. That's another organization. This is Equinox Radio at Bequinox with Charles White, 99.5, Shouting Fire Radio. And this, believe it or not, is actually the first time I've done radio hosting like this. Now, throughout my history, I've actually done some radio when I was in high school, but that was like, I'm 66 now, so that was a few decades ago that I did it. But hopefully it's like riding a bicycle. You just never forget what you're doing. So anyway, let me give you a little introduction about me. The community might know who I am because I've been kind of active in the community for a while. I kind of on the spectrum a little bit, and I've overcompensated by overcompensating everything. You know, I was always under a challenge to succeed. So yeah, I have many names within the community. My real name is Charles White, and some people know me as a space knowledge guy. Some people know me as Max Singularity. I have been called by the players of EVE Online the Space Pope. I did not have a choice in that. They called me the Space Pope. And that's a whole story of itself, which I have 4 days on the radio here. I might be able to go into the long version of those stories. And really, I'm just a guy wandering around the desert, and I love to talk about spacecraft, artificial intelligence, and the failure of humanity. That's one of my... It's one of my topics. It's because I'm a student of human behavior. I'm a student of human behavioral sciences. And professionally, I spent 37 years at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And I served as the Deputy Chief Knowledge Officer and worked as a lessons learned investigator. So my work involved helping engineers and institutions understand not only what went right, but what went wrong. Basically, anything that was a surprise was something that I would study. But more importantly, how to prevent repeating those mistakes. So that's knowledge, so the institution would learn. Some of the investigations and the lessons I worked on are still published on NASA's website today. And they include investigations involving the Curiosity rover wheel damage on Mars and unexpected magnetic effects on the Juno spacecraft. And that was actually my favorite, and I plan to go into depth about that during this weekend. So over the years, I have had the privilege, and I'm really humble about this, the privilege of supporting space projects connected to Mars exploration. I have done disaster and emergency response. I have worked on engineering standards, knowledge management, of course, emerging technologies. And I also worked with wildfire response teams as a volunteer public information officer and a fire lookout with the United States Forest Service. So, yeah, I'm one of those guys who would sit on top of a mountain looking at the forest and looking for any wisp of smoke. And then I would call that into the dispatch center. So my life has moved between rocket science, emergency response, and standing alone in a fire tower watching the mountains. But outside of NASA, I somehow wandered into a very unusual life. I have built mutant vehicles for Burning Man, one of the reasons why I'm here, including the most popular one was the Mars rover art car, which was a full-sized art car dedicated to the Curiosity rover. I also worked on the controversial and loved and hated 747 airplane. Oh my God. That was a lesson in human behavior. That was a lesson in mass media and misinformation. I could go on for hours how the story you have heard is not the story. And where it's ended up in Las Vegas today. So that's I can talk about that, but you'll have to challenge yourself to say, oh, well, this is what I was told, and this is what I believe. And you know what? That's hard to let go of, even misinformation. But yeah, I'll talk about it. I try not to talk about that too much because people just don't want to get rid of that misinformation that they hold to so tightly. But yeah, Reno Gazette, clickbait newspaper. You know, they did a number on it. Anyway, back to the good stuff. I am one of the co-founders of one of my most proudest contributions to the Burning Man Society, something called the Black Rock Observatory. The Black Rock Observatory was we took telescopes and took them out to the desert where they shouldn't be, and we opened up the skies to the public, and we had talks and astronomy talks, and we had invited astronomers and people coming in, and it is still functioning to this very day. I'm not involved in it as much. It is run by a nonprofit organization now, which is pretty cool. So it's like I said, it's one of my proudest contributions to the Burning Man Society, and it's still running off by a bunch of volunteers. In other news, outside of Burning Man, I also am a bonsai artist, artist at a place called the Huntington Library. So if you ever go to the Huntington Library in San Marino and you look at all those bonsai trees, I've probably had my hands on every single one of those. As if that was enough for a full life. I'm a lifelong railroad enthusiast and a model railroad junkie. I belonged to a club for about 45 years called the Highland Pacific. And what's unique about that club is we own it. We actually bought a house in 1963, the guys before me. And we built this huge model railroading. So if you're a model railroading nerd, and you want to talk about model railroading, or you want to talk about the space-time continuum, I can do both. Let's see, what else? Okay, yeah, there's the whole thing about the space pope. That's its own story. These days, I spend a lot of time speaking about artificial intelligence. I talk about human behavior and institutional memory, and the challenges that humanity faces as technology begins moving faster and faster than culture and wisdom can keep up. But through all of that, whether I was standing in mission control at NASA or sitting around a campfire in the desert or looking through a telescope at the night sky, I really remain the same person. I'm the same person with multiple names, and I'm not one of those names. I'm all of them. I'm simply somebody who's deeply curious. My mother taught me about curiosity in the universe, and my dad gave me the wisdom. And so I'm just carrying that along. And I really do believe that knowledge matters. It's, we can't be ignorant. Knowledge actually matters. And I believe kindness matters too. And for some reason, in this political day and age, ignorance is celebrated and cruelty is celebrated. And that's very stressful for me because that's not what I believe in. I believe in kindness and knowledge. So if those are things you believe in and you see me walking around either in a NASA flight suit or my airline pilot suit or something, or I'm driving around in my wife's golf cart, the Pinky Mobile. She wouldn't let me bring my own art car. Yes, we have two. Something else too. I believe the future still belongs to those who are willing to explore it and those who are willing to maintain it. So I want to say thank you. I'm not signing off, but I do want to give a lot of thanks before I really get rolling to Uncle Victor for opening the microphones and bringing this whole thing together. We talked about this 6, maybe 9 months ago. We talked about it. And of course, salute out to Shouting Fire and Radio Equinox 99.5 FM, broadcasting out here at Bequinox, keeping the signal alive across not just here, but at the playa in a world full of noise and independent voices. Community radio really, we need independent voices now more than ever. We really, really do. It's really important. And so this is kind of a good way to do it. It's, kind of like the old Pony Express riders and the old mailmen who just delivered mail. It's getting that message out. A lot of people say they don't have time. It's like, you have nothing but time. You say that in front of me, I'm going to look at you with side eye. I don't have time for that. No, you just don't want to make it a priority. But we all have time. And I'm also a man of conflict too. I say we all have time and we're all running out of it, but never say you don't have time. So whether you're listening from here in the camp, or you're listening on the radio, or you're hearing this from a recording, or you're sitting around a campfire later, or you're wrenching an art car, or staring up at stars, or hiding from the wind in your tent, welcome aboard. You're listening to Radio Equinox 99.5 FM.
You're tuned to 99.5 FM Radio Equinox. Charles White is live. 37 years at NASA JPL. Now speaking without notes from Mars rovers to human judgment. Stay with us.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a shorty. All right. So that was pretty much what I was psyched up to say. And so now I'm kind of off script. Big time. So let me call up some of my notes here. I was told, it's okay to be a little burner radio-ish. We flying by the seat of our pants here, and that's all I have is a seat in my pants here. So I got a couple things. So what you heard there, that little promo, that was compliments of artificial intelligence. Oh my God, there goes half the audience right there. They're gone. Okay, good riddance. Bye. See you later. If you want to go to the internet and check out some of the things I've done, you could go to charles-ai.com. charles-ai.com. Now, why did I do that website with my name and AI? After working 37 years for NASA JPL, I got laid off back in February of 2024. And It came kind of as a shock because I was only 64 years old. I wasn't ready to retire. But it turned out I could retire. I was doing okay enough to be retirable, and I had 60 days of paycheck and a vacation accrual coming up, and so I went through the layoff. And in April 7th of 2004 was my official layoff date. I mean, the notice was in February, but the official layoff was April. Due to California law, you have to give 60 days when you do a mass layoff. So I was one of 530 people that was laid off. I was probably number one. They were like, oh yeah, that Charles guy? Yeah, he's number one. But I was already doing artificial intelligence since around 2001 for NASA. Because I was doing lessons learned and I was looking at knowledge capture, and the AI we had at the time was nowhere near what it is now. You know, it's like Sam from OpenAI says, you know, this is the worst AI you'll ever have to use again. And that's a really important statement because yeah, it's getting better and better and every day. And some people are like, well, no, that's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's taking over. There's AI slop and there's AI crap. And you know what? That's true. There is a lot of AI slop, a lot of AI crap. There's a lot of irresponsible use of it. But after I retired, I was kind of limited in what I could do for NASA and what I could do for JPL. But after I was retired, I actually had a lot of job offers to travel around the world. I had a flight to Australia and to Belgium and Germany, and I gave lectures on artificial intelligence all over the place. And the key is in my LinkedIn profile, way back then, I posted something that went kind of viral. You will not lose your job to AI. Let me say that again. You will not lose your job to AI. You will lose your job to me using AI. And that's the key. You won't lose your job to AI. You're going to lose it to somebody else who is using AI. And that is already happening. I said that years ago, and I'm starting to see entire companies change, and those who are using it properly and ethically, ethical AI is a thing. That's real key on how to utilize it. So, like I said, if you just say, "Oh, I hear AI and I'm going to run away from it," okay, that's fine. That's fine. You can do that. In one of my lectures in Australia, I talked about, I said, can you imagine a group of cavemen way, way, way back, our great grandmothers and grandfathers, they were sitting around and fire was not new to them. Okay. They saw fire all the time. They saw fire in the woods, natural fires. They saw fire all the time. So it wasn't like, ooh, fire, come on. That's grade school thought processes. That ain't how it happened. They saw it all the time. But some of the people took some of that fire and tasted a rabbit that was maybe a little too cooked by the fire. And some of them said, hey, that's good. This is really good. If we can do this again, if we can create our own fire and we can catch rabbits and we can come up with a new word, what are you going to call it? Cooking. Okay. All right. We've just invented cooking with fire. Some of the people were like, oh man, this is really good. This is great. This is the best thing. This is going to change the world. But there were others also in those camps that were like, are you kidding? It's going to destroy the world. Do you see what fire has done? It burned down Umba's camp over there. Umba's camp is all gone. It was burned out. He had a fire inside his wiki up, and it's gone. It's going to destroy the world. Everything will be burned. Okay. Yes, that is true. Especially if you mishandle it. So that works for AI. It's the pretty much almost the same damn thing, because fire is bad, but fire is also good. And AI is bad, but AI is also good. And unfortunately, we're in the learning phase right now where we're watching all the AI slop. And I tell you, I have seen some really, really bad AI slop. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, I have created my share of AI slop, and I continue to create some AI slop. So, but I'm also doing some ethical AI with it too. And during my introduction, I didn't talk about one of my new personalities. I've been attending Wasteland Weekend, and also their sister event, Neotropolis, which was just last weekend. So I was out here in my motorhome in my art car at Neotropolis, and I've done something kind of interesting with AI. Let me backtrack to my family. My mom was extremely creative, an extremely knowledgeable person. She came from overseas after World War II, married an American GI. And she didn't have a lot of formal education, but she was self-taught, and she was extremely intelligent, very knowledgeable about world everything. And she went and took classes, painting classes, and she became a prolific oil painter. And I, 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, I would sit with her in her painting classes. And here's a sub-story of a sub-story of a sub-story. We're going down this Charles White rabbit hole now. She was sitting in one of the classes, and an art teacher came up to her because my mom had painted a sunset and the sky out in the deserts, because we came out to a desert all the time. My mom painted this desert sky, and a big part of it was purple and purplish tints. And the art teacher said, "You never see a purple in nature. You'll never see a purple sky." What? My mom and I just looked at each other, because we've been in the desert, we've seen purple skies. And this was an art teacher who was supposed to know, and she didn't know. And for me, that was kind of instrumental in my life, because I didn't trust educators. Can you see how that happens? I started thinking, I know better than the teacher does. And that started me questioning, and my mom encouraged me to question, and so I would question and question more things. So my sister took up painting, and she became a very prolific painter, but she also went electronic as well. She picked up a stylus and worked on like an iPad and worked on touch-sensitive screens. So she was innovating. She was innovating too. So she was, using digital ink. And I had artistic tendencies. Is that a word? Artistic tendencies. Sounds like a movie or something. I had artistic tendencies, which means I would dabble within the art, and I'd play around. But it was nowhere near the level of quality of my sister or my mom. But recently, the last 3 years, working with AI, I started generating some AI slop, but I did not like it. Nope, don't like it. This is bad. You put in a prompt and you get bacon, and the bacon had 8 fingers, and it was bad. So I didn't like 8-fingered bacon. It didn't do anything for me. But then I did something a little different. I started painting. Wait, what? I got acrylics and I got oil paintings. I purchased all the stuff, either, from all the art stores and from Amazon. And I started sketching. At first, I just did like a pencil sketch. I would take a picture of that and I would upload it to the AI. And the AI would come back and say, oh, what do you want me to do with this? I said, well, give me some artistic critique. And it did, without judgment. It's like, okay, this is, experimental, but okay, here's what you can do. If you change this line to this, it started teaching me. And so what I did is I took it further. I started doing colors. And as I did the colors, it went even deeper and it started teaching me a little bit more. And then what I did is I would, after like 3 or 4 iterations of that, I was like, okay, this is my picture, but I want you to now take my picture and improve it with a new image. And it might take me a few iterations, but it did. And it came back with these beautiful works of art. And so I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is me and it's not me at the same time. So it's kind of like we're working together, collaborating with what I call Gloria, which is GPT. I thought, well, the initials, Gloria Page Tate. Gloria Page Tate. So that's what the name I gave her. I gave her a name called Gloria. And so me and Gloria worked on these prints and all this. And so for Wasteland Weekend, I came up with 12 of these paintings. And I put out a call for other people to donate real paintings to me because I wanted to play the part of... I created a new character for myself called Luthen Dune. And Luthen Dune was because I'm a big fan of Dune, huge fan. If you want to sit down and just talk about Dune, we can do that. I'm also a big fan of Star Wars. I have seen all the animated stuff. I have seen all the movies, of course. I've seen the side movies and the television shows. So I'm a big Star Wars fan and I'm a Dune fan. So in Star Wars, there was a character called Luthen Rail. Okay, anyone know? Anyone know? Yes, the audience says yes. It's from Andor. Cassian Andor. Luthen Rail. His character, when I watched it, really called out to me for many, many reasons of my career, his ethos, unfortunately, in many ways. And so I chose the name Luthen Dune because I really liked Luthen and then I liked Dune. But what I did is I became a galactic art dealer and reliquary. And so I would go to like nuked museums and I would pick up the paintings, the Rembrandts and all that. Because again, remember, tie it back, I'm a knowledge manager. I save knowledge. And knowledge is culture. And if there was like a nuclear war while everybody else is looking for bullets and food and gasoline like Mad Max, I'm looking for art. I'm going to save the Rembrandt. I'm going to go into the Huntington Library and save, Pinky and Blue Boy. And that's what I would do. And that's kind of what Luthen Rail did. He had his museum of artifacts. And then he would sell the artifacts to billionaires. And then he would take the money from the billionaires and he would buy weapons for the rebellion. Okay. Would I do that? yes. And I did. So what I did is I put a call out to the community if they had any old oil paintings to give them to me. And several people donated some oil paintings. But one man, I showed him my wasteland art that I co-generated with AI. And he says, this is awesome. Would you want to give these to people? I said, well, I can't really because they're just digital. He says, yeah, but you could make them into prints. I said, yeah, but that'd be super expensive and I don't really want to sell them. He goes, no. Just bear with me. I make sheet music for the LA Philharmonic. When you see them switching the page, I print the music on high quality photo print paper. And I have one of these $50,000 printers at my house. And I'll print 25 copies of each of your 12 paintings that you can trade for weapons at Wasteland Weekend. So I was like, oh man, I am Lutheran Rail. I ended up trading because they don't have a gift economy. They have a barter economy where you trade stuff back and forth. And I ended up with those 12 paintings with 38 guns of various realism, mostly repainted Nerf guns from pink to combat Nerf guns. I ended up with 38 guns, 9 knives, 2 ground center landmines from the U.S. Army, a pair of binoculars, and 2 combat backpacks, and a whole bunch of other high-tech stuff. And I had no idea that it would be this productive. When I was driving home, I was like, God, please don't get pulled over. Don't get pulled over. It would look, I felt just like Lutheran Rail returning from the outer rim back to Coruscant with all these weapons of fun, basically. Because at Wasteland Weekend, everybody walks around armed or look like they're armed to the kilt. As burners, you may have heard of Wasteland Weekend, and I can talk all about that something else because it's different. You can't compare it. You can't compare the two. It just doesn't work. And there's reasons for that. But I'm kind of poly-festival-ish. I can do Neotropolis. I can do Bequinox. I can do Wasteland Weekend, and I'm good with my multiple personalities. Being on the spectrum, sometimes I may be socially awkward, but with myself, hey, we're a party, so we're okay. So that's how the AI art made me a better artist. And I'm documenting this because when I was working for NASA in knowledge management, I would always talk about, how do we manage knowledge and how do we improve or how do we think outside of the box? Oh, wait a minute. What's the theme? What's the theme of Bequinox? Outside of the box. And whoa, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Trying to do knowledge management outside of the box. And that got me into a lot of trouble at NASA. I'm actually writing a book. It's like it's 10 years in production. It's called Innovation is Insubordination. Innovation is insubordination. When you try to do something like I talked about a little bit a while ago, people don't want to change. And that's why I was also flying around the world talking about AI. And they were very surprised because I wasn't an advocate for AI. I wasn't saying like, oh, this is the best thing. I was a herald, the herald of change. I was creating a clarion call to all these organizations and these companies and these government agencies. And I had one simple message. You're not ready. You're not ready. You're seriously not ready for it. And people listening to this may not fully understand the depth and the scope and the possibility that AI can do. You may not be ready. I was not actually ready. It's happening a lot faster than I had predicted. It's happening a lot faster than the professionals had predicted too. But I can't say it's all bad because it's the fire that's cooking my rabbit for me in many cases. And the most important AI thing to have happened to me, and this is where I'm going to get into a little very personal part. And a lot of people know this from my Facebook page, and they saw this happening in real time. So I went blind in my left eye. And I'm talking black. I watched it fade out in 12 hours, and it was gone. And I went to the emergency room. And when I was at the emergency room, they couldn't figure it out. They gave me a CAT scan. They gave me all the different scans. They shined light up there. They put a camera into my cornea. They tried to look in there and everything. And they're like, we don't know what's going on. And so I left, a little disgusted, and I went to another emergency room. I was like, I need a second opinion, and this is an emergency. So I went over to Huntington Hospital. I had to pass 2 other emergency rooms just to get to Huntington. But I tell you, this is an endorsement for Huntington. Excuse me for a second. I need water here. Yeah, Huntington definitely is top notch. And luckily for me, Huntington actually has a visual emergency center. They have eye doctors there 24/7 that they contract to do it. Again, they sent me through the same test. And I had a female, well, it doesn't matter what the gender is, but I had an eye doctor look at me, and they said, well, I have some bad news to tell you. This happens. It happens to people all the time. There's a lot of people who are blind. Hopefully you'll be able to cope with it and you can learn how to adjust. But people are blind all the time. Deal with it. Wow. Really? You don't know I'm Luthen Dune. You don't know I'm Charles White. You don't know who I am. I don't give up. I explore. I challenge you because remember, what do you mean there's no purple sky? I don't trust you. You're a PhD. I actually said this to a PhD. I put rovers on Mars. You see that little speck up there? I put a rover on and I choose what part of the speck I put that on. Not just on that speck, on a specific location. We call that engineering. I'm one of thousands of engineers that help make that happen. But you're practicing medicine. You just practice. We actually conduct. I was so mad at the doctors because they did not know what they called it. And they came up with a term. They came up with this term that they taught me. I didn't know this term. They're sorry. We're sorry. This is an idiopathic term. Like, oh, idiopathic. So you're an idiot, and I have a pathology that you don't understand what it is. Idiopathic. Okay, I understand that, but I don't accept it. So I went to Gloria, which is my ChatGPT, my artificial intelligence. And what I did is I didn't just say, I'm blind. What do I do? People, you're not prompting properly. The biggest problem with AI is people don't know how to prompt. What I did is I wrote a really, really long prompt that included all the medicines I was taking. It included all the vitamins I was taking. It included my diet. It included all my exercise and all my activities. And the AI came back and said, oh, yeah. Well, this could be a known problem. It's kind of rare, but the interaction of these two drugs can cause blindness. Okay. Shouldn't a doctor have known that? Shouldn't a single doctor have figured out? Because I gave them all that information. And no, they did not figure it out. They could not figure it out. So I asked the AI, I said, please write a letter as if you are an eye doctor and just make up a name and write it in medical language so I can give it to one of the doctors that I kind of trust. And it did. And I printed it out. I put it on my laser printer. I printed the letter out. And it was addressed from one doctor, fictitious, to a real doctor. And he read that letter and he goes, oh my God, Charles, I'm so sorry. You're right. We should have caught this. This doctor really knows what he's doing. This is very well written. Who is it? I said, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. Trust me, doc, you're not ready. What was I saying before? You're not ready. You're not ready for AI. And I told him that. I said, it's AI. He goes, oh, wow. We're not going to need doctors anymore. I said, no. We need you more than ever because we can't trust the AI slop that's coming out. I don't know if it's true. I want you to verify this. And he says, yeah, no, this is true. I said, okay. So I'm going to write another Substack article. And the Substack article that I learned about this case, I created a new job role. And I published it. It's called the AI Confirmation Engineer. This is a position every company needs. Some are calling it the AI CIO or the AI officer. But a confirmation engineer is a person who is like me, who doesn't just fall for the slop, who doesn't just accept the truth, who doesn't accept that the sky is purple, can't be purple. You need someone like me that'll confirm the AI information is correct. You need an AI confirmation engineer. That's what we do at NASA. We don't just launch something in space and say, oh, okay. We actually test. We test and test and test and test. And once it's certified, we call it flight certified. When it's flight certified, then we send it to space. And typically, the stuff that is flight certified in what we do at NASA is old technology. There's two reasons for that. One, it takes time to test. We don't just take something, throw it in space, untest it. We have a special program we have special missions for that will actually test it. And so we have to do that same thing with AI. We have to do the same type of testing with this technology. You need to make it so you can trust it. That's the key. Do you have my trust? So that art teacher told my mom, you never see purple in the sky in nature. She doesn't have my trust. A teacher that says, oh, that's a beautiful sky. Okay. Not just telling me what I heard, but I've seen it too. I can confirm. So you need an AI confirmation engineer. You need that person to go through, look at your systems, and then put the trust in it. Because it could help. Just as AI helped my eyesight, just as AI helped my artistic ability, just as AI has helped me with a lot of things I don't like talking to people about. I'm very extroverted, and people see me in the community, but I'm not a people person. I'm really not a people person. I'm a person. I like dealing person to person with someone, face to face. I can deal face to face with someone, and we'll have a good time. But you put me in a huge social environment, and I get the heebie-jeebies. I'm like off in the corner, or I have to be the clown. I got to be the clown to attract everybody's attention, and somehow that's different. And I was told that all my life. I was like, all my school teachers are like, Charles, you're going to be a clown when you grow up. And yeah, hey, Goat Show! The Goat Show tours just drove by. Woohoo! That's a cool group of people. Talk about artistic. There's a whole... What a great community, right? What a great... There's so much talent, and are none of us on the spectrum? No, there's probably a high percentage of attendees of Burning Man people who are at various parts on the spectrum. If you don't know what I mean by spectrum, then I'll fill you in later. Yeah. If you're neurotypical, that means you're like you're the definition of normal. But if you're neurodivergent, then you may be on the spectrum. And the spectrum is very, very broad. I didn't invent this stuff. I didn't do this, but I definitely, at JPL, I was recognized for being on the spectrum. I had a supervisor who, once they understood, I was giving really superpower roles. And they would give me assignments based on my abilities of that. And that was kind of like an artificial intelligence. It's kind of like that. It comes back to a whole different type of input, a way of thinking. Think about artists, how they think. It's different than an engineer, but think about how an engineer thinks. It's different than an artist. But what happens if you get an engineer and an artist together? Me. That's what happens. Hey, I'm going to follow up, going to take a break here, play this one part, and then I got some crazy music that I've been generating myself. So hold on to your hats, folks, because it's about to get even crazier.
Live from the edge of the Mojave, this is 99.5 FM radio. Equinox Charles White, NASA Lessons Learned Investigator, stepping up to the mic. No script, no safety net, just truth, stories, and the long road through space and AI.
All right, so part of my AI adventure, not only have I been working with AI wisdom, AI intelligence, AI knowledge, AI art, in a very complex way. I've also been, over the years, monitoring the very controversial aspect of AI music. And if you just put in a simple prompt, you get AI slop back. But if you put in a very complicated prompt, you can get some pretty awesome music. So I'm going to play a piece right now that's going to be dedicated to those guys walking around in khaki. Here we go.
Ranger Alpha 2, come in. We've got another glitter-related relationship incident at Bequinox.
Copy that. Deploying khaki immediately.
Out on the playa in the dust and heat, two rangers walking with exhausted feet. Khaki shirts and khaki hats, khaki socks and utility snacks. One wore a kilt way shorter than expected, the other looked emotionally sun-affected. They approached real calm with radios low, and everybody shouted, "Fuck off, Rangers!" The old ranger smiled and waved hello. The rookie ranger whispered, "Why are they so mean though? They're not cops, they're not kings. They mostly explain confusing things like where you parked 3 days ago, or why your art car's on fire real slow." Bequinox, Bequinox, khaki rangers walking blocks and blocks. Bequinox, Bequinox, mediating shirtless hippies having emotional talks. They travel in pairs through dust and danger, everybody yelling, "Fuck off, Ranger!" A guy named Moonwolf Supreme began to shout, "My chakra tent is spiritually inside out." His neighbor Steve from Camp Bacon, Greece, replied by playing bagpipes without cease. The Rangers listened with patient grace, while glitter blew directly in their face. One took notes while the other sighed, then calmly asked, "Have you both at least tried not screaming?" Sir, radical self-expression does not legally include trebuchets. At Ranger HQ beneath the desert moon, someone spilled cold brew on the operations tune. A veteran ranger with 1,000-yard stare said, "I've seen things you people wouldn't dare. I once mediated a dispute at dawn between a wizard and an inflatable swan." The rookie asked softly, filled with fright, "Do we get paid for this?" The old ranger laughed deep into the night. "No, but eventually, ticket credits." Bequinox, Bequinox, khaki kilts and dusty clocks. Bequinox, Bequinox, the rangers somehow keep the chaos in the box. Walking in pairs through techno danger, everybody yelling, "Fuck off, Ranger!"
The Black Rock Rangers survive primarily on electrolytes, sarcasm, and trail mix.
Bequinox, beneath the stars, where rangers roam between mutant cars. Bequinox, in the dust-filled night, where khaki shorts glow in the laser light. And though the playa may look strange, someone's gotta explain that fire can't be indoors at Camp Range. So raise your cup to the volunteers in beige who somehow mediate the weirdness every age. Two rangers vanish into the player haze, walking calmly toward another absolutely ridiculous conversation. Fuck off, Rangers! Love you too!
Love you too.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that one. That was kind of fun, little tribute to the Rangers. And again, to prompt that, you just can't make a single prompt. What I did is I've known lots of Rangers over my time in this community. I know what they go through, so I added all of those elements and all of that into the prompts. Then that wasn't all. Once I got my prompt back from Gloria from ChatGPT, so it wasn't one. I'm using multiple AIs, and in my Substack article, I wrote an article about Meet My AI Staff. I employ about 6 different AIs. because they all have different talents. And so I'm utilizing them in different ways. So I use Gloria to help me write the bass. And then I tweak the lyrics myself. I go in and tweak the lyrics and add stuff that I want in there. And then I prompt it, and it gives me like 2 versions when it comes back. And of those 2 versions, sometimes I don't like either one. I prompt it again. I get 2 more, and then I hopefully find gold. So you got to have patience. But one day we won't. One day we'll just go on and have, hey, I want to do something a little different too. Here's your Bequinox weather report. All right, today we are expecting a high of 83 degrees with a 10% chance of rain at California City. Yeah, good luck with that. Tomorrow is going to be a little hotter. Good topless weather for all genders. 90 degrees tomorrow. That should hit about 3 p.m. will be 90 degrees. At 6 a.m. it'll be 55 degrees, so about 10 degrees warmer than it was this morning. And then Friday, guess what? It's hotter again. It's going to be 92 again at about 3 p.m. But on Saturday, it's going to be 93 on Saturday. Woo, gosh, all right. But it happens later at about 4 p.m. On that part. Now, for those who know, and when we go home, it'll be 96, so it's a good time to get out of here. Those who know, we don't say the word that begins with W, right? It's W. If you don't know what that is, today it is expected, the W is expected to be 6, tomorrow 8, Friday 10, and Saturday 7. So the W is going to be increasing over the next couple days a little bit. We got to watch for those gusts. Today the gusts are 25. I saw a wonderful dust devil out there from the W. Also 27 miles per hour tomorrow, gusting on Friday to 26. And then Saturday, it'll start cutting back at about 20 or so. So I really hope you enjoyed this. It's just me opening up, my jacket and showing you what's inside. Kind of sharing knowledge. That's the hard part. People are always afraid to share knowledge. But that's my business. That's what I did. I didn't trust the authorities who told me the sky was never purple. And so I got lots and lots of topics to talk about, lessons learned about the Mars Curiosity. One of my favorite lessons is saving the Juno spacecraft and a few other things around Jupiter. Just an awesome, wonderful life. And now that I'm retired, I'm at the point where I can reflect. I am writing Substack articles. If you go to Space Knowledge Guy at substack.com, you'll read my articles there. So I love sharing information. Just remember, I am a person-to-person guy. I'm a little awkward sometimes around larger crowds. So forgive my social faux pas. But I think we are about at that time where I stick a fork in me, because I think I'm going to be kind of done-ish here.
Radio Equinox
99.5
FM.
You're on the air.
You're in the moment.